What is going on, guys? I'm back. Buys today. Starting off lat pull downs. Already set in. And I decided I was gonna this week add an additional 2.5 pounds over last week. So last week added 2.5. This week adding another 2.5 for a total of 5 pounds. When I was here, I know I said I was going to potentially go back to doing weighted pull-ups. When I was here on Saturday, I was looking to see if they had one of those, weight belts, or I guess it technically would be like a weight belt. It's got the chain on the end, so that way you can loop it through a plate to do, like weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, things of that nature. And I've seen they've got those belts for what look like it would be that type of belt, where you could run something through it. But I've not seen a chain or like a rope or strap that looks like it would be used for that anywhere around here. So until I find one of those, I'm just going to continue doing lat pull downs because they work just fine, in my opinion. So yeah, we're already set in 5 pounds heavier over 2.5 pounds heavier over last week, 5 pounds heavier over set number 1. Let's go ahead and get into set number 2. There's a noticeable difference over that first set. Whereas that first set, I was able to get 10 reps, like moderately working. But then the second set, with that extra 5 pounds, those last 2 reps, I was having to fight for them. And I'm trying to be more conscious of not swaying my body on these, meaning like when you're coming down, like leaning back to help get the weight down. I'm trying to, obviously I want a little bit of movement there just to allow the bar to come down in front of me. But really I'm trying to limit that movement as much as possible, which in turn will keep a much stricter form. So we got 1 set to go. Probably leave the weight right where it's at, and then still try to land anywhere between 8 and 10 reps on the final set. All right, let's get this final set. 8 to 10. That, that was good. That was good. For 9 reps, I'll take it. I think I might do something a little bit crazy real quick, just to maybe try and help my progression on this. I'm gonna add, I think, 20% of this weight on top of it. Try and do 1 rep and just hold it for like 3 to 5 seconds. So that way it kind of shocks the muscle and gets it a bit more accustomed to being able to handle a heavier load. So I've already done the calculation for an additional 20% on what I'm doing now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Should be right there. That was heavy. That was very heavy, actually. Kind of surprised that I was able to even pull it down once, but sometimes you surprise yourself. Let's go get into some T-bar rows. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 5 pounds. I'm already a set in. Really the main reason why I've been skipping recording the first set. It's really just save myself time in between sets, because typically by the time I get done, taking everything apart that I was just using and moving on to the next movement, setting it up, adjusting it for me, adding, the appropriate weight, it's already been plenty of rest. So for me to then have to take an extra step, set up the camera, do all that, I'd just be resting for way too long. So it's the main reason why I just go ahead and jump into set 2. That way I know everything else is good. This is my main focus. And just go from there. First set was pretty good. Solid 8 reps. Figured an additional 5 pounds would probably be pretty good. As long as I'm landing between 6 and 8, then I'm pretty good with that. Ideally, it would be between 6 and 10, but I'll take 8 reps. I feel like that's a good middle ground. fighting for that last rep. It's 165 for 8. And that is a PR. Who knew what a difference just 5 pounds would make? Got one more set of this, and then we're moving to hammer curls. I'm not gonna make the mistake that I did last week and try to go from this to single arm rows. No, we're doing hammer curls after this. Weight still exactly the same, 5 pounds increase. Let's do this last set. Damn it, man. There's like partial shrugs at the end of that. Just completely fried me. My back's definitely feeling crispy now. So we're gonna give that a little bit of a break, like I said, do some hammers, and then go back to finishing off the back. So I might have gotten a little bit ahead of myself on these first set, or on this first set of hammer curls. Just gonna try and start off with the 55s, since I ended my last set with those. Figured I would start fresh with that, which actually ended up being a PR because I got 8 reps, but like barely 8 reps. Last week I got 6, and that was on the final set. So if I'm wanting to still maintain 8 reps, I know I'm gonna have to go down in weight. So set 2 and 3, going back down to the 50s. But I do feel pretty good about getting, I guess, like the heaviest working set out of the way first, where the muscles are freshest. Lift move a little bit more weight on that first set, and then just kind of ride out the sets 2 and 3, still giving, like maximum effort for those sets, but with a slightly less load. Really, if I wanted to, I could probably drop it down even more and then just really focus on slow and controlled tempo. That was a solid set. Yeah, there it goes. The camera didn't want to get in focus. So I've rested for about 2 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this last set. That one was good. Really trying to focus on the tempo of that last set. Let's go do some single arm rows. So I just finished up first set on the single rows. And I almost wasn't gonna do them. There was an angled like V-bar on here, and I was almost considering just switching it up a little bit, doing that, but ultimately decided I just keep the consistency with the single arm row. However, I do think that I went just a little heavy. Yeah, actually, no, not quite, because last week I did 75 for 8 reps in both sets. And I just did 75 again for that first set with a questionable 10 reps. A couple of them were kind of sloppy, but I'm definitely feeling fatigue in my back, especially my lats. Obviously, because this mostly I'm pulling through my lats, so they're fatigued as shit. So I actually think that I'm gonna decrease the weight just a little bit for the second set to really, make sure that I'm getting good quality reps, good contraction, good stretch, all that stuff. That already feels better. That felt much better. And on these, I pretty much use the same concept that I was talking about at the beginning of the workout on the lat pull downs, where I'm not trying to sway or rock my body we're trying to limit that movement as much as possible. Like obviously, when you're lowering the weight, getting that stretch, I like to lean forward into it to just put more emphasis on that stretched portion. But then when I'm coming back, I don't want to like rock and swing all the way back. I want to just kind of like gradually come back, keep somewhat of an arch in my back, just come up to about upright and while pulling through at the same time. So we've got one more movement of this workout. That's going to be the incline dumbbell curls. 3 sets of those. Let's go get them. And then Kira's got like 25 minutes of cardio that she's got to do. So I might actually hit some abs real quick afterwards. See what it looks like as far as time, see how much time she's got left on that thing, and then just kind of go from there. So we already 1 set in on the incline curls with the 45s, because last week sets 2 and 3 were done with the 45s. So this week, starting set 1 with 45s. Ideally, I would like to try and do all 3 sets with the 45s. However, actually I might be able to. I might end up with like 6 reps on set 3. If my progression from last week tracks and means anything, I might end up with 6 in that final set, but it'll still be pretty good, pretty close. And as far as progression is concerned, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Doing all 3 sets at a heavier load, then potentially maybe like a week, 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks. Stick with this, see if I can increase the reps, and then maybe in 2 weeks' time, finish off that final set up to like the 50s, something like that. Yeah, I think that might work. Let's go ahead, get into the set number 2. Another 8 on those. Let's fucking go. Thinking for set 3, 6, 7-ish, which should be pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and get into this final set. Damn it, man, I do want 8 reps on this. Maybe, actually, you know what? Maybe what I do, if I don't get 8 reps, I'm doing a drop. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. So if I get like 6, 7, 45, probably drop it down to probably either the 25s or the 30s, and then just burn the hell out of those things. I don't know if you would count that 8th rep or not. I was definitely cheating to get up there. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do the drop anyways. Figured the 25 should be good enough. My biceps are definitely feeling crispy now. So, not sure. I don't think I'm gonna go check out the pump after today's workout, but I am gonna go hit some abs, and because I don't really train abs all that often, so I'm gonna take advantage of the time that I've got. That's going to be, I think, a wrap on this one. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.